So recently, the Hypixel server was attacked and the server had to go on maintenance. During that time, everyone was struggling. Like people actually had to go outside? And that was insanity. Hypixel players going outside? Never heard of that before. Then there were people that had to improvise. By improvise, I mean they would go on a different server to play similar game modes. For example, a Bed Wars casual playing on the server with Egg Wars or Cake Wars. They're practically the same thing, but hey, a lot of people prefer breaking beds. I mean, there's probably a reason for that. Leave that to your imagination. So, where did the Skyblock players decide to go? They decided to go to an equally as grindy server called Dwincraft. Yeah, Skyblock players just love grinding things. You know what I mean? I guess having big numbers means a lot. So, while Dwincraft players gained new players, Hypixel was working on their solution to the problem. It only took Hypixel a few days to solve the issue, but it did feel like an eternity to some people. And that some people does not include me. When the server was up, a lot of people went on. However, there were people that decided to stay on the new servers they found. So Hypixel used their genius marketing techniques. They decided to enable triple network XP and double skill XP on Skyblock. They have to bring back all the players somehow, right? Like double skill XP is like a blessing to Skyblock players. Even though the stats you get from leveling skills is so small, Skyblock players get tempted really easily. Me included. Like people will spend millions of dollars for big brain books, but that doesn't really help their intelligence in real life. Slight boost of intelligence in the game, but there's no change in real life. That's really how it is. Actually, there's like a reverse relationship between skills in real life and skills in Hypixel. You may get HP from farming and fishing, but your health in real life declines. There is also a chance that Hypixel may have felt bad about the server being down and just wanted to compensate the players. I mean, you would try to compensate players that spend real life money on pet skins that players would probably never use, like the rock pet. Now that I provided some background information, let me get to the good parts. By the good parts, I mean talking about the worst skill in Hypixel Skyblock. If you disagree and say fishing is worse, let me ask you this question. How much money that would making you? You're also kinda like harming the environment for what? Strength that got nerfed? And like a few coins? Now before someone says foraging does make money, I need you to please check the date this video is uploaded, because I swear, people will be commenting that foraging makes a lot of money because they're playing right after the update comes out, the foraging update. But right now, you want to see the $0 that foraging makes? You can also level up foraging pets from level 1 to 100 and sell them for profit, but you can also do that with other pets. That's really the only good way of making money from foraging as of now. But if there's some other ways to make money from foraging, please don't comment it. People will hate you for exposing one of their money-making methods. Despite all the hate I threw out on foraging, I actually did forage during the double skill XP boost. I know, very, very surprising. Mainly because I like doing things for the sake of doing things. Also, I figured out that my foraging skill was kinda low. It was like level 21 and I really had nothing to do. Of course, I could have made more videos. Yeah, that's a possibility. But foraging is just too important, right? It has been a while since I touched my tree capitator. It was all alone in my ender chest. It didn't even have a reforge on it. It was just there collecting dust. I was happy that it didn't get wiped because of the ender chest bug, but I still had to pay an extra like 1 mil for the reforge. You better not be asking why I didn't recom the axe. I know that I spent 1 mil on 4% increase in foraging XP, but I'm still not paying 5 million for 1% extra. Like, I'm not made of money. Neither are these trees. So I'll just be broke if I recom the axe. But I did get a monkey pet because, well, I was looking to flip it for like a 20 mil profit. I didn't end up doing that because I decided that monkey pet might be useful in the next foraging update. As I said before, I haven't foraged in a while, so I really wanted to grind all day. I went to this grind thinking that I would be smiling all day, seeing my foraging skill level up. Of course, that wasn't really the case, as I only felt sadness. Like even on my streaming channel, I titled one of my streams as Foraging Makes Me Sad. But if you do decide to look at that stream, I was lying about sounding sad. I think I was talking about girls while chopping trees. That's the life, I guess. But yeah, when I first went to the foraging islands, there was barely anyone farming dark oak wood. At that time, I was foraging so fast and told myself that this skill is too easy. Of course, I didn't type GG easy in the chat or else I would look dumb. You can do that, but I'm not that guy. In reality, it was only easy to do because no one else was taking my dark oak wood. Later on, I started encountering problems. There were people in lapis armor slowly chopping trees down. I also saw a bunch of young armor people running around the area and chopping trees down. That is what you call competition. Well, the lapis armor guys weren't much of a competition as they were chopping the trees pretty slowly, but it did create a problem for me. So I am a human being, if you cannot tell. I have to think about morals. If I chop down the tree that the lapis armor people are chopping down, I would just look like a complete douchebag. How do I know this? Because I chopped down a tree that a lapis armor person was chopping down, and they were indirectly insulting me by saying whoever steals trees is blah blah blah. Can't specifically quote them because YouTube won't like that. Of course, all the lapis person had to do was switch lobbies if they see some guy chopping down trees at rapid speeds. My foraging grind wasn't really affected by his or her words because I only cared about gaining foraging XP. But it did make me feel bad for them. I usually only switch lobbies when I see at least 2 players running around at the same speed as me. Then one day something fell on me. Of course that was an apple because you'd expect apples to fall off trees. Birds don't fall from the skies unless of course they decide not to use their wings. I mean, that's possible. Well, after the apple fell on my head, I started to think of a concept that even Newton would be amazed. No, it has nothing to do with physics, but it was a concept for foraging. What if everyone just establishes respectful foraging? Yeah, I finally started talking about the topic that you guys might find some interest in. I just had to provide some background information to make sure you understand the complexity of this idea. Totally not because I'm trying to get into the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so respectful foraging, a term coined by a player called RythemBeat. It is the act of respecting everyone's foraging needs. So how would this work? What are the benefits? Are there any negatives? I will start discussing about this revolutionary idea. At this point, this just sounds like one of those school presentations. Anyways, there are 3 ways that you can establish respectful foraging. First method, if you see a lobby with 2 people or less foraging in the area that you want to forage in, you simply say, "Good work on respectful foraging," and just switch lobbies. Once you find a lobby with 1 person or less in the area you want to forage in, you can join them. Now, if there's another person that starts foraging in your area, you kindly ask them to leave because you're practicing respectful foraging. Of course, this method would be difficult to pull off because people put their own needs first. The second method of respectful foraging is creating a line for foraging. If you went to school before, you should know how lining up works. In a specific area such as the dark oak wood area, there can only be a max of 2 people foraging at a time. These players get 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes is up, the next pair could forage and the first pair would rest for 10 minutes. This method is not bad because everyone gets tired. But what if you're not tired? Well, it's simple. You keep spreading the word of respectful foraging, saying how great it is, and honestly, it's nice to take a small break from grinding, or if you want money, just do some flips or something. Not backflips, because that's dangerous. Of course, if you are a professional, you are allowed to do that. No one's stopping you from doing a backflip, but you might hurt yourself. You could also interact with the fishing people. A lot of them like talking in chat because they have the time to do so. Let's make the foraging islands the nicest place to be in. A place known for being nice and respectful. We can leave dungeons and the end as the toxic places. The last method is not as efficient as the second method, but it works, I guess. Dante would love the third method. Basically, everyone has their own 2 trees to chop off. There you go, no competition, and respecting each other's trees. Remember to always mention something about respectful foraging when practicing it. There's actually one last way to respectfully forage. You just have to set up wood minions on your island and then chop down the wood that the minions create out of thin air. Remember to type respectful foraging because the minions are actually admins in disguise. Let the admins know about this movement. I did say that there are 3 methods and I actually added another method, but there's actually a 5th method. Just don't forage. You are respecting other people's foraging by not interrupting them. And to be honest, foraging is not healthy. I mean, it would be healthy if you're actually foraging real life, so you could actually respectfully forage by grabbing an axe in real life and chopping down some real trees. I suggest waiting for the foraging update. I'm pretty sure the admins will make it so that you will get foraging 50 in like a few days. I mean, look at the Dwarven Mines update. Mining was practically impossible to level up before the Dwarven Mines existed because you get so little XP for mining things like endstone. But then now you get commissions that basically gives you like a bunch of XP. Like they say, wood smart, not wood hard. We ain't about the hard wood life. Also, why would they announce a foraging update after the double skill XP ended? If they announced it in the beginning, I would have never foraged. I guess Hypixel is just too smart. They knew that we wouldn't forage during the double skill XP if there's a forage update announced. Well, there's always going to be that one guy that forages regardless of anything. Respectable. So, you have reached the end of this video. Make sure to spread the word of respectful foraging and please subscribe. I sacrificed my precious mining time for this.